2 minutes. And we're live. Welcome to the City of Foster City Estero Municipal Improvement District regular meeting of Monday, January 6, 2020, 6:30 p.m.
Call the meeting to order. If you'll stand and repeat after with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item.
Item 3, roll call. Council members ex officio EMID directors Richa Awasthi.
Here.
Sanjay Gahani.
Here.
Sam Hindi.
Here.
Herb Perez, he's indicated that he's recusing himself from the consent calendar, so he'll be arriving later in the meeting. And Mayor President Catherine Mahanpour.
Here. Next item, please.
Item 4, special presentations. 4.1, presentation by Foster City Library Manager Anna Koch regarding the San Mateo County Library 2019 Annual Report.
Welcome, Anna.
Thank you. Am I on here? Yep. So Happy New Year's, everyone. So we just kicked right in. It's been busy as ever at our library. And I want to thank the council members for hearing me out today. We just received our annual report for 2018-19, and I just want to share with the members some of the numbers and some of the few of the exciting things we've done this past year. Excuse me. So as you know, Foster City Library is one of the family members of San Mateo County Libraries. We are one of 12 community libraries in San Mateo. And our contribution this year has been pretty significant. So here are the facts for the Foster City Library. We have had close to 720,000 items that have circulated, and that includes our growing collection of ebooks, and which is up about 30% from last year. DVDs and CDs are still as popular as ever, even though streaming is such a main thing now, but our DVD collection still continues to contribute to that 720,000. We also have non-traditional library materials, hotspots, so wireless internet that people can borrow and take on vacation or go home with, or if their internet is out. So it's been a really popular, high-demand item. So that so people use our libraries, and we are the busiest library in the county, so yay, Foster City. We've had a little over 340,000 visitors come through our doors this past year, and so we know that they value our library. We've had over 3,400 new patrons register for library cards, and again, that's up about 30% from last year, so it keeps growing. People know a good thing when they see it. As far as programs, we've had well over 1,300 programs at our library, and up to close to 54,000 attendees. And those programs include story time, story time being kind of the bread and butter for us. We have a daily story time, except for Sundays. But once a month on a Sunday, we have a Mandarin bilingual story time, which is really popular. That's actually been growing in popularity. But we also include music and dance programs. We had a very active Diwali programs at the library. A lot of health programs, and many local author programs. So as the numbers demonstrate, Foster City continues to be well-loved, bustling community destination for our residents and beyond. But those are just the numbers. We did some really exciting things this past year, which I'd like to briefly highlight. So this past year, Foster City partnered with the San Mateo Foster City Education Foundation to host a community read together. It's their annual fundraiser. And local community leaders were on hand to read their favorite children's books. So we had principal, we had firemen, we had a police officer, and we also had a very special guest, which was Pete the Cat, and that brought in over 200 kids into our library for a Saturday afternoon. We are doing it again this next, in a couple of Saturdays from now. I think it's January the 25th, and we do have a couple of other special guests coming to that. So last year, as part of our Make It March programming, the Bay Area Discovery Museum sent out their Try It truck to Foster City Library, and well over 100 kids and their parents were able to get hands-on experience with both low-tech and high-tech tools, learning about the engineering design process. We will do that again, obviously, this year because it was extremely popular. And then finally, our libraries reached close to 50,000 children throughout the 2018 Summer Learning Challenge. Foster City alone kicked off the challenge by hosting an open house, drawing more than 400 residents. Families enjoyed summer games, lots of entertainment, all while learning about the Summer Learning Challenge. Right now, we are currently wrapping up our Winter Challenge, and that's been growing as well. So, committed to serving our communities through innovative solutions and progressive policies, San Mateo County Libraries also went fine-free, which means no more overdues. And ensuring that every member of our community has access to library books and resources. Now we're working on the city libraries to do the same thing so that the whole county can be fine-free. And it's really a growing movement. I think there are at least 5 other counties in the Bay Area and the greater Bay Area have gone fine-free. So it's a movement. And then, excuse me, and I'd like to end this with a special word of thanks to our friends of the Foster City Library. They continue to be a strong advocate and supporter of the library along with the city and have been important partners to us throughout the years. Thanks to the efforts of the city and the Friends Group, well over or close to 1,000 visitors each day enjoy our library, our space, and if you go over there right now, it's booming. So anyway, thank you for that. and I can answer any questions you might have about our fabulous library.
Any questions? Yes.
Just a comment, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, so it seems like tonight I will be the city representative to the GPA, Library GPA, so if you need anything in
Oh,
the
are you gonna be
upcoming
the new-
year, feel
Great.
free to reach out to me, I'm happy to meet with you and assist in any way I can.
Would you love to do a story time for us?
Story time?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you have a, we can either pick out a good book, or if you have a favorite.
Yeah, I'd always like you to pick up a good book.
Okay.
Who am I to be better than the librarian?
So we do have at the Readathon program coming up on January 25th, we might have an opportunity for you to
Let's talk offline,
read a,
absolutely.
sure thing.
Thank you.
I'll email you.
And I just wanted to add to that, when I was as a member of the JPA, I learned a lot about the offerings of the library and the library system, and how it's changed over the years to become such an information center. So I really appreciated my experience on the JPA so that I could learn more about what offerings we have at the libraries,
Right.
the county libraries.
We just went today for the, I think was the first day for, at our Belmont Library, you can rent a bike for the day.
Oh,
So, yeah, we're going more and more into non-traditional items to
Wow.
check out. And then I was reading somewhere that, I think it was maybe Berkeley or one of the East Bay libraries has a, you can borrow small appliances like blenders and
Oh, wow, really?
microwaves and Instapots. So we are, we're all things to all people, obviously. So, but it's been a tremendous experience working in this community. It's just so well loved, and
The library is well-used, I know.
well
and-
used, and really value education. So
Definitely.
thank you for supporting us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 5, public. This is an opportunity for members of the public to speak on items not listed on the agenda.
So I have two speaker slips. The first one is Mandy Browning.
Good evening. I'll take this off so you can hear me. As you know, I'm one of the local kiteboarders here in our Wynn community, and happy to be here and have the opportunity to speak up. We've had a lot of discussions on our concessions at the Bay Winds Park, and I'm constantly thinking about how can we continue to improve and build our existing program there. And one of the things that I know has been a little bit of an issue, not a big problem, but an issue, is where do we store the jet skis for our instructors? We've historically had about one jet ski on site where it's been stored there on a floating dock that's temporarily, set there. But the instructors do have to remove that and go in and out up through Coyote. In the past, I know that both Wind Over Water, where Tony has worked as manager for that company, he's approached the harbor master and the boating community up there, as well as Ovi Benuta with Kite 415, about obtaining a slip to store the jet skis overnight in a much more safe environment where, there's not going to be vandalism or anything happen with the tides and, hitting upon the rocks. Historically, they've been told no, that it's been a conflict of interest with the existing concession up there. Granted, they will allow you access to go in and out of the water, which they have to legally do because nobody owns the bay. But in order to have everybody within the concessions within their entire county, including Coyote Point, I think it would be in our best interest if the city can somehow step in find out how we can obtain, either through the city obtaining a slip up there and offsetting the cost to the concessions for Bay Winds Park, to then store their jet skis where they can just come back and forth. You're not operating out of that site, which I think is the main concern there, so there shouldn't be any interference. And the bay's a big spot, so there should be plenty of room. But thought I'd throw that out there and see what your thoughts are.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker is Eva Hess.
Good evening, City Council. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Mayor Mahampur, Vice Mayor Gahani, good evening. I'm here this evening to discuss political campaign sign regulations. I propose that the city clarify our political sign regulations. We need to clearly define what constitutes an eyesore, such as how many campaign signs per intersection would be considered littering. For example, right here at the corner of Hillsdale and Foster City Boulevard, I counted 7 of Mr. Perez's signs. How many consecutive signs? And what is the acceptable distance between each consecutive sign? For example, on Edgewater near Booth Bay Park, there are 3 signs within 6 feet of each other consecutively. And on Port Royal and Beach Park, there are 2 signs 2 inches apart. Is that necessary? Today, I spent 2 hours photographing and documenting Mr. Perez's numerous campaign sign violations. For example, 4 stop sign violations at Edgewater and Monterey and Beach Park and Shell. 3 median violations at Beach Park and Edgewater and at Metro Center and Edgewater. 3 signs in front of traffic signals at East 3rd Avenue and Lakeside Drive and at Foster City Boulevard and Triton. 6 signs in front of utility boxes at Edgewater and Baffin, at Beach Park and Edgewater, at Mariners Island and Edgewater, and at Baffin and Picarn. I saw a sign obscuring a freeway sign at Mariners and Edgewater, and another in front of the yield sign right here on the rotunda. Who do we report these violations to? What are the consequences for all these violations? Is Mr. Perez going to again receive special treatment? I understand Mr. Perez owes over $17,000 to the city in unpaid sponsorships. I request that the city adds the cost of staff time to remove his illegally placed signage to his bill. For someone who professes to maintain the highest of ethics, I would like to remind Mr. Perez that as a council member, he is a public servant. This does not entitle him to special treatment or privileges, nor to flaunt our city's ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6, City EMID Consent Calendar. All matters listed under Consent Calendar are considered to be routine by the City Council EMID Board of Directors and will be enacted by one motion unless removed by a member of the council, board, staff, or public.
So I don't have any requests to remove anything from the consent calendar. Do you have comments?
I do,
Councilmember
I
Henry.
do. So Madam Mayor, I will recuse myself from item 6.2.1. I will vote on the rest of the item, but I will recuse myself from 6.2.1 due to
Okay.
proximity for my business.
So we'll remove that from the calendar and vote on that separately? Yes. Okay, thank you. So do I have a motion?
Move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Motion carries 4-0 with council members Awasthi, Gahani, and Hindi, and Mayor Mahanpour, yes.
Thank you. So 6.2.1, do I have a motion?
Move.
Second?
So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain?
Motion carries 3 yeses from Councilmember Awasthi, Gahani, and Mayor Mahanpour, and abstained by Councilmember Hindi.
That would actually, for the record, we should indicate that's a recusal, not an
Recused
abstention.
Rather than
Thank you.
abstention, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next item?
Item 7, resolutions for adoption. 7.1, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Foster City rescinding the County of San Mateo Building Department Mutual Aid Agreement dated August 7th, 2017, approving the San Mateo County Operational Area Building Safety Inspection Program Mutual Aid Agreement, and authorizing the city manager to execute such agreement for and on behalf of the City of Foster City.
Excuse me, I have a point of personal privilege. There was a comment, I think, made about me when I was not here that was inaccurate and a lie. I am not involved in, there's a group of citizens that have an anti-recall campaign. Congratulations to them, by the way. And all the signs that are placed are by that group. So the inappropriate statement by the past speaker was inappropriate and an attack on my character. She owes me an apology, and she owes the recall people an apology. I have not placed signs. I'm not in charge of that group. They are doing their duty as citizens. So please correct your misstatements in the future. There have been other misstatements made, but I'll deal with those accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Continue. Continue with the staff report.
Mayor Manapor and members of the City Council. Staff is here tonight recommending that Council adopt an ordinance approving the San Mateo County Operational Area Building Safety Inspection Program Mutual Aid Agreement. The purpose of this agreement is to provide an organized means of providing voluntarily mutual aid to neighboring entities during the event of a disaster. While there is no requirement for every agency to enter in this agreement, the cities of Pacifica, Belmont, and Woodside have already agreed to this, and there is a high likelihood that the majority of the entities on the peninsula would do so for the mutual benefit involved shortly. Staff is here to answer any questions you might have.
Do you have any questions?
No questions to comment.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah?
Yes.
No, I just, I appreciated, one of the concerns that I had was regarding availability, and so I appreciated Section 5, where, availability is based on the ability and capacity to provide the service or respond to calls for service within the jurisdiction. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
Any comments or questions? Other comments, questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carries 5-0. All council members voted yes.
Thank you.
Item 8, old business. 8.1, consider appointments of citizens to new full terms from January 1, 2020 through December 31st, 2022 on the following citizen advisory committees, tabled from December 16th, 2019. The Parks and Recreation Committee, Fred Baer, Jennifer De Leon, Doris Duncan, Deborah Odom, Yvonne Reisig, and Charles Tomberg.
Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. This item is coming back tonight after initially being presented at the December 16th meeting. This item was tabled so the city attorney could look into a potential conflict of interest. The city attorney has determined there is no conflict of interest and all council members may participate at tonight's meeting. That
Thank you.
concludes my staff report.
Thank you. So I think before we start voting on the Parks and Rec Committee members, I wanted to explain the process. So I'm going to take nominations one at a time, and we'll vote on each one at that time, after the nomination is made. I am going to first go to Vice Mayor Gahani, because he's the appointed liaison to Parks and Rec Committee, so I'll ask him for a nomination first.
I nominate Deborah Odom.
Nominations don't require a second, so we'll go ahead and vote on that. So all in favor of Deborah Odom?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carries 4-0. All council members voted yes.
So next I'll go in order of seniority, and I will ask Councilmember Hindi if he has a nomination.
Okay, I would like to nominate Yvonne Reisig.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. All
Thank
council
you.
members yes.
Next I will go to Richa Wasli,
I will nominate Charles Tomberg.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. All council members yes.
And I have a nomination for Doris Duncan. I nominate Doris Duncan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. All council members voted yes.
So I think we have one more nomination left. Does anybody have a preference nomination?
I would like, if you don't mind.
Yes,
All right.
Councilmember Hindi.
I'd like to nominate Fred Bear.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. All council members voted yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I got a question for the city attorney, with your permission.
Sure.
Did Councilmember Perez recuse himself? If he did, on what grounds?
He recused himself and indicated to me it's because he has pending litigation with one of the applicants.
Okay, thank you. I mean, it's for my benefit and also for the benefit of the public. I think they deserve to know why he recused himself. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 9, communications. City District warrant of demands were processed and issued on December 4th, 2019, December 9th, 2019, December 11th, 2019, December 18th, 2019, and December 23rd, 2019. This is an information item only, no action required.
So we'll start with the city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Just want to say Happy New Year to our community and to all that are present tonight. So Happy New Year to everyone. Regarding our police volunteers, we are looking for emergency services volunteers to join our police department team. There is a selection procedure process due to the exposure in the police department, but it can be quite rewarding. For information regarding joining this volunteer position, please go to our website. If you go under Police, you go under the tab Join Our Team, and then you go under Emergency Service Volunteers. You can get information regarding applying for this position. And then our next meeting for our City Council is January 21st, 2020. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wasli.
Thank you. I attended the change of command ceremony with the Consolidated Fire Department. So that was a very nice and very touching ceremony. Would like to thank our Fire Chief, John Healy, again, and welcome the new Fire Chief. Other than that, I would like to wish everyone a happy 2020. We are not only entering a new year, we are entering a new decade, and I always get excited about fresh beginnings and time to set new goals and try to achieve them. So I wish everyone in the community best of luck with their goals, whether they have personal, professional goals related to their families, fitness goals, any goals. I wish them all the best, and I'm very excited and very optimistic about 2020, and I hope that everyone else is as well. So that would be my update. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hindi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also attended the transfer of command of the fire department chief. Congratulations to Chief Ray Iverson for taking the helm of Cemetery Consolidated Fire. I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Obviously, hope it will be a peaceful year and prosperous year and a healthy year to all of you. But unfortunately, the Ponce City lost one of its community member, long-term resident and volunteer, our colleague on Parks and Rec. He served on the Parks and Rec, Steve Morris. He also was a Lion. He was a volunteer who served this community without any limitation, without any hesitation. We're gonna miss Steve, but most of all, Steve was a great husband, a great father, and a great grandfather, and a great community member. So our condolences, my condolences to his family, to Nancy and the entire family of Steve, and we wish him just to be at peace, and we wish for Steve to rest in peace wherever he is now. If we could, Madam Mayor, if I may ask, if we could convene on his memory tonight.
Sure,
Thank you.
thank you. And Vice Mayor Gahani?
I don't have any updates at this time, but I do want to wish everyone a very happy new year.
I also want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. I think 2020 is going to be a very interesting and challenging year, but I think it's going to be a good year. I look forward to it, and I look forward to the challenges. And I also want to send my condolences to Steve Morris's family. I got to know him in 2015 during my campaign, and he was very active, especially in the Parks and Rec community. So I send my condolences. And with that, I will adjourn in Steve Morris's name. Thank you. Good night. We'll recess into closed session.
Yes. For closed session items, 11.1, conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6A, and 11.2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code 54956.9B. One case.